Hello there, I'm back. So I have some news. The other day I went to my psychiatrist's office and I got diagnosed with ADHD. So how did this happen? First of all, I've always had trouble with being really easily distracted and procrastinating and being kind of fidgety and basic ADHD stuff. And my therapist knows this, and all of my therapists have known this, and I've always talked about, like, with them how I can modify my behavior to get better at doing things in a timely and efficient manner. And recently I've been working with my therapist on it because I'm currently out of school, so I have a lot of time to waste. So I was talking to my therapist about it, and we thought of some new things I could do to try to do better with like procrastination and getting distracted and stuff, and try to like shorten my morning routine because it's been very long, not only because I'm doing OCD compulsions, but also because I'm incredibly easily distracted. So I'm telling this to my psychiatrist and she says, out of academic curiosity, can I just have you fill out this survey to see if you might have ADHD, because it's very classic ADHD. And so I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So a little history about me and ADHD. So I've read the symptoms of ADHD, and I've read articles about it. You guys know I'm very active in the mental health community, so I come across it all the time. And so I've read articles about it, and I've thought like, wow, this is so me. But whenever I found that I had a lot of symptoms in common with ADHD, it was always really easy for me to say, well, anxiety has a lot of these symptoms too, so it could just be my anxiety and my easy distractibility, and it might just be like a character trait, I don't know. Or it also could be my Lyme disease, because I have chronic Lyme, whether you believe in that or not, and that causes these kinds of things. But this has always been a problem in my life, like forever. So I've always kind of wondered about it, but at the same time I thought, well, I know I'm getting treatment, so the best thing, a diagnosis won't really help. The best thing I can do is just treat the symptoms as they are, because I don't really know if it's ADHD or not. So that was kind of the way I was dealing with having these symptoms that didn't really fall necessarily into the category of anxiety or depression, but kind of were related. Also, you should know, when I was a kid and I was in elementary school, my teachers tried to diagnose me with ADHD. Now, teachers are not clinicians and do not have the skill or education to diagnose anyone with anything, so my parents were really skeptical, and they thought they were just trying to like put me on Ritalin so I don't keep getting distracted and making them look bad. And so basically, my parents took me to a therapist, which I am eternally grateful for, because I still believe that I had generalized anxiety disorder back then. I know I did. And basically that's what my therapist said. Oh, she doesn't have ADHD, she has severe anxiety. I still believe that's true. However, as I've learned since then, my psychiatrist told me the other day, and I've also heard of other people having this experience, that oftentimes ADHD is misdiagnosed as anxiety or as depression, when in reality it might be all the anxiety and depression a person has might stem from the OCD symptoms, or there might be a little bit of all of those things going on. There could be ADHD and anxiety. Basically, being diagnosed with anxiety put me on the path of being treated for having anxiety, and no one really thought to ask if I had ADHD again. But my psychiatrist is very thorough, and she says, like, I don't want to miss this. I don't want to miss this if this is something that I can help you for. So I take the quiz. I take the survey thing, and essentially there are two parts to the ADHD scale that she gave me. There's part A and part B, and typically they say that if you have 4 marked off in the highlighted range in part A, that it's super likely that you have ADHD. Like, it's basically a given you have ADHD. And I think I had like over 4, it was like 5 or 6. And so we went over it afterwards, and she says that to me, and it's like, well, I can't disagree. And like, if you looked through that scale, I had a lot of things that I checked off, and I was like, some of these things I didn't even know were ADHD symptoms, but I looked at it and was like, well, that makes sense, and I totally have that. There were things that I didn't apply to, but I applied to, let me rephrase that. So there were things that didn't apply to me, but there were a lot of things that applied to me. So, that's how I got diagnosed with ADHD. Basically, she told me to go home and ask if I have a family history of ADHD, ask my parents, and also think about going on medication and think about, like, do I think this diagnosis is my diagnosis? like, she really is into patient-led treatment. She wants me to be okay with these things. So that kind of transitions me into my next topic. How do I feel about receiving this diagnosis? So I used to have a fear of being diagnosed with a new mental disorder. With this though, I'm not scared. I feel honestly kind of relieved. It just makes perfect sense. I always knew, reading through those articles, like, I apply to so many of these things, but just, I felt like if I asked a therapist about it, they really wouldn't believe me, for one thing, and for another thing, I don't know, I just felt like it wasn't that important to get a diagnosis. It was more important to treat the symptoms. That was always kind of my mindset. But more so, I think, it was that I didn't think doctors would believe me if I brought it up, so I just kind of put it to the back burner. So it's always been there. These symptoms have always been there. The thought that I might have ADHD has always been there. And now that I've gotten pretty much a solid diagnosis, I'm kind of like, yeah, it makes sense. So no, I'm not scared to have this new diagnosis. I don't feel any negative feelings. I actually feel pretty excited because now I get to explore treatment and medication. My doctor, my psychiatrist enlightened me and told me that ADHD is very biological, and basically the best treatment is medication. There's not much therapy can do. So seeing that as I've exhausted all of my behavioral modification options, I'm excited to explore the realm of treatment, medication treatment. And you guys know that I'm reluctant to take medications, but I've dealt with these symptoms for so long, and they have screwed with my life in so many ways. It makes every day harder. It made school harder, all throughout public school and even homeschooling and college. And my doctor described patients who get diagnosed with ADHD as adults like this, that the people who get diagnosed as adults were the kids who always, like, they got through school, but they always felt like they were working 10 times harder than everyone else. And that was me. And she also said people who take medications as adults are sometimes like, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner, because it truly changes their brain chemistry, and they're like, bam, fixed, because medications are that powerful for this disorder. So I'm going to try medications, I'm hoping to, and I'm excited to explore that avenue. Like, I'm really excited. And I feel like this diagnosis fits perfectly. I haven't done all the research you wanted me to yet, but I know, like, I know this diagnosis fits me. I'm happy that I have this diagnosis. I can try new things. I'm excited. So that's that. You could look at it like kind of disappointing that I have so many mental health diagnoses, but you know me, I get diagnoses like other people get pants. It's just part of my life, no? No, but I like how I was trying to think of something that people get often, and I could only think of pants. Yeah, I guess if you're like a pants fiend, or like woman who love buying shoes, it works. So now that that's out of the way, I wanted to update you guys a little bit on my life. Well, here's first thing. I got a new journal to act as my mental health journal. It is a travel journal. So basically, the pages and booklets inside that you write on are refillable. I'm excited about it. So I wanted to update you guys a little bit. First of all, I graduated in December, so I have my associate's degree now, and now I'm kind of on a long break as I apply to colleges to go to in the fall, and I look for a job and volunteering opportunities, which are exciting, and I really want my applications to look good. So I'm looking for mental health jobs so I can put those on my resume and my applications, and then the colleges will be like, ooh, she's cool and she stands out and we'll admit her. So I already got into one of those schools, which is exciting, but I still haven't applied to like the rest, so I have to apply to them and see what they say. But I'm really excited to think about like going to school on these ADHD meds, because imagine if it's just a whole another experience where I am thriving and I don't have to struggle so much more than everyone else does just to get the same grades or good grades. So next order of business, I have a survey out. It's called the 2016 Shalom Aleichem survey. So it's, if you haven't noticed, I've been kind of absent from YouTube and during 2017, and I'm hoping to change that now that I'm on this long break. However, I made this survey in 2016, and I said to myself, I will take it down in about a month after I announce it on my YouTube channel. However, I never announced it on my YouTube channel because I've been doing so bad at filming and editing that it just didn't happen. I actually have the video that I originally filmed announcing it, which is actually called 2016 Mental Health Favorites. That'll be coming out in 2018. And yeah, I never finished editing it. I've been having such a hard time with that. I still don't really know, I can't pin down why I haven't been able to make videos. It's just been a combination of things, and I'm just gonna try to move forward now and make more, because I want to make more videos and I'm done with being stifled by this writers, filmers, editors block that I'm having. So, the survey. The survey is currently, I'll put a link in the description, but there's also a link on my Twitter. I want you to take it still. I know it's labeled with 2016 and I was gonna close it in early 2017, but I want you to take it still because I want to know how I can improve, and I promised myself I would tell you first, so I'm doing that. I'm fulfilling my promise to myself. So yes, please go do that survey if you haven't already. Maybe like most of you have, I don't know. But go do that survey. And then after that, I'm planning on rebranding my channel and changing it up a bit. And I'm excited about that too. But first I want to get your input, so please fill out that survey. Last thing, I started wearing my hair down again. So I was really excited to make my next video with my hair down because I knew that you guys would be like, she has her hair down, why is this happening? And I would just tease you the whole time and not tell you until the very end. There you go, you're welcome. So basically I wear my hair down now. I don't feel the need to cover it all of the time for modesty purposes, but I still do wear it when I'm praying or prophesying or doing things to worship God, because that is what the passage originally says in 1 Corinthians 11 of the Bible. So I still cover it in those instances, but I don't feel the need to cover it while praying anymore. I mean, sorry, while being out and about and covering it in front of people for modesty purposes. And will I revisit that? Maybe. But I've just revisited it and I feel like this is the right thing to do. So yeah, my hair's down now. This is what it looks like naturally. I really don't want to make a big deal about it. I appreciate it if you didn't either, but you know, you can make comments about it if you want, I don't care. This is what it looks like naturally. I've been kind of curling it a little bit because I'm having trouble with the frizz and the static and the winter. The winter weather always like messes with my hair so bad. But I wanted to go natural for you guys because I know you're not used to seeing me wearing makeup, which is another thing I do now. I wanted to be as normal as possible. Like I'm talking to my children that I've abandoned for a year and I'm just coming back like, hey, I'm the same. I also got new glasses, which I forgot to wear in this video. They're even more nerdy than my last ones, so I'm excited about them. And yeah, I hope your 2017 went awesome and your 2018 is off to a great start. And thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Bye! Oh, and if you have any advice or experience with being diagnosed with OCD, because I'm sure someone else has had a similar experience. If you have any advice about this diagnosis or about medication, please tell me about it. I would love to hear about it. And if you have any experience with being diagnosed with ADHD, tell me about it. Tell me in the comments. Link to the survey will be in the description. And that's all I got. Bye! If you're wondering what this smudge was on my finger the whole time, it was a fox temporary tattoo. Another thing I got in 2017 and didn't use until 2018. So a little history about me and the ADHD disorder. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Anyway,